want to ask Solomon, how did he start this podcast place?
Well, the story's sort of similar. I've actually been in PR and marketing since 2010. Before that, I was an editor for a magazine. And one of the things that I was doing here that I liked, I really enjoy the business. The issue is, you sit in this office by yourself, you work with people remotely. Your clients are remote, everybody's remote, and you got this vibrant neighborhood. And you look outside, you see everybody walking by, and you realize, I don't interact with the neighborhood at all. I don't interact with anybody. So COVID hit, and like it's just been this ongoing theme that you're right, despite the travesty and loss of life and all of the terrible stories that has happened. It was really time for reflection, right?
Yes.
People, if you think of working as swimming and like just constantly like you got your head down. COVID gave you a chance to sort of look up and reassess your direction,
That's right.
And I think for me, it was sort of that same thing. I had started to put together a little bit of a multimedia section in my office for my clients to introduce new products or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And I thought, what if I use this to interact with my community? And, lots of people were coming in and they were doing, that you hear they're doing their podcast at home, right? You go to Best Buy, you can't find a webcam anywhere, right? Because they're either doing podcasts or they're doing Zoom or whatever. And so there was always this question of, would people be willing to now come into a slightly better environment and do it here and pay for that? And so it was a chance I took. So I invested heavily in equipment. I didn't go cheap. I put a lot into this.
Top of the line stuff.
Very, very professional.
Thanks. Yeah.
It gives us a production value.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I put a lot into the audio. I learned a lot. And I made some mistakes. And, my first client was these 4 kids who came in and they said, one of the guys called me and goes, "Hey, I want to do a podcast with my 4 friends." And I go, "Well, I'm sorry, I can only fit 2 people." Because that was, I thought, most podcasts are 2,
Yeah,
well,
right.
it's 4 of us. I want to do a podcast with my 4 friends. And he was just so insistent.
Oh,
And I said, okay. So he came in, I met his 4 friends. They were all high school seniors and they wanted to do a podcast called 4 Teens for Change. And the podcast was helping these, high school kids sort of, figure out high school and give advice on different things.
Cool.
And so I said, okay, well, you know what? I'll make you a deal. Well, I'll actually make you a double deal. I'm going to figure out a way to accommodate 4 people, and I'm going to charge you guys $40 to do the podcast.
Okay.
But with that $40, you're going to allow me to make mistakes. So it's sort of like getting your haircut at barber school. Right?
That's right.
So, we went through a lot of different things and, and the kids were great. And, and I, they come in and we would try different things and it wouldn't work out and blah, blah, blah. And so I was able to set up different things. And so it really helped evolve the system. The other thing it helped me evolve was a system by which when clients would come in and say, "Hey, it would be great if we had this," you can really evaluate and say, well, yeah, maybe we should add that if it benefits everybody. So slowly the whole thing sort of starts to come together.
Yeah. Can we get a phone stand?
Yeah.
Like
And see,
this,
there you go. The phone stand. It's like, I need an extra one. Okay, so now we got 2.
Right.
So really, it was really that evolution. And I'll tell you this, honestly, you make more money doing B2B, working with big companies. It's just how it is. You get retainers. And I always joke with people, this business model is a little bit different because you're dealing with individual podcasts. They pay per thing. So every day you're doing something. So it's sort of like I went from working at a law office to working at a liquor store now. It's like they're both good businesses, but it's just a different model, right? One, you got 5 or 6 customers paying you larger money, and the other, you got, lots of smaller customers paying you smaller bits more frequently.
So hopefully we're not the winos hanging out front.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, get out my store. But yeah, it's been probably the most fulfilling thing that I've done.
Wow.
I've always been driven by helping people and knowing that what I do makes a difference. That's always been my thing. And so to see those 4 kids now, they came in 2 weeks ago. They did their podcast. They're all graduating. They told me two of them going to UC Berkeley, one's going to San Diego State, and I think one's going to UCLA. And it just makes you proud because you saw the evolution. While they're coming here, I have time to coach them, talk to them about life and things like that, and you're happy for them. And so there's a story like that with every
Everybody.
person who
Yes.
comes in,
Yeah.
including you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, and I tell people when they come in, it's not about me renting you space. It's me understanding what your values are, what your missions are, what your goals are, and then helping you achieve that. And, adding my insight, my marketing
Right,
expertise, my
exactly.
presentation expertise along the way.
Yeah,
along
Solomon
with,
created our logo.
Yeah.
I was telling him this morning, there's not too many logos that I like that I didn't create, but I
Yeah.
really like ours.
the logo was a bit of an accident.
Yeah.
A good accident.
And
Yeah.
when I first time walks in here, and he really sat me down and really asked me what I want to do.
Yeah.
Try to learn what I need and what I've tried to achieve. So that's very different from
Yes.
any kind of business, because a lot of business just money, cash to change.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
and what you mentioned earlier is the process is the value, because
Right.
because like those 14s, you guide them from here to there.
Right.
So
Yeah.
in the between, the process is what's the value is.
Right.
Yeah, and I really want to be able to, like, for me, and it all started when I met a lady. I was walking the neighborhood, this beautiful neighborhood here in California Heights, all the old houses, and I saw a lady doing gardening. We started to talk and everything, and she was obviously a lot of expertise, and she mentioned, she goes, "Yeah, I always wanted to start a podcast, but," and I've heard that so many
Yes.
times, the but, and the but usually is followed by, "I don't know where to start. I don't know what equipment to buy, blah, blah,
Totally.
blah. I wouldn't know where to do it, lighting, this and that."
Yes.
And my thought was, what if I could take all of that away? What if you as a creator could come in and just sit down and just create
Yes.
and then leave,
That's what you
and
did.
everything else is handled,
Exactly.
and you get your footage the next day, and it's not this big process, and it's all ready to upload, like
Right.
ready to go.
Yes.
Exactly.
Not this
Which is
big,
amazing.
yeah, not this big post production. And then the other thing too is I didn't want to price out young creators. I mean, I looked at some of the models in LA and things like that. I mean, for what you do here, I think it's like probably $350 an episode. And,
Wow.
I wouldn't be able to get any young people. I'd be back to the same old B2B thing, and so I wanted to price it in a way where you can come and start at a thing and sort of grow as the show grows. And it's been fun because, like I said, from talking with you guys, talking with all of the other shows, we have about 24 shows now,
Wow.
starting from that one, and I started this in June.
Wow.
And I've just evolved the business. You add on services that make sense, that stay within your area of efficiency, but give you a higher level of customization for every client.
Right.
And I think it's a pretty balanced model.
Just
right
as
now.
something as simple as changing the curtain behind us.
Yes.
We have
Just-
choices.
It's called
of what to
tweaking
do.
and
Right.
pivot.
Yeah.
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 So-
So that was and that's a funny story too, because I had a client said, these two, I call them the nuns, right? That's what
So, yeah.
they're coming, and they do a podcast called Whole into the Full, and it's a pretty successful podcast. And they wanted to do white curtains because they talk about religion, God, and they felt it went with it. And so I said, okay, I'll buy white curtains because I figure other people may want white curtains too.
Right.
So first time I had to transition and take the gray ones off. I take it down, I pull the thing apart, and I'm trying to put the curtains on, trying not to get the white ones dirty, trying to get everything wrinkled. And it was a mess. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna go to Target and just buy another curtain rod. And so now I just take the whole rod down, I store it in the back, put a whole rod up, and it's like a 5-minute process. And so now I can do the white, the red, or gray.
color.
So just those little
Totally.
efficiency tweaks, make it possible to
Absolutely.
give people custom, but still run the business with a flow.
Right.
You know.
Right.